notation for functions. There's a common way that we write functions where we say that f of x equals something. That's how you read this f parentheses x is f of x. And what it's saying is that we've got this function f that we input values for x into that function. And that's the variable that we should see on the right side is x because of what the variable in this parentheses is. And so one thing this allows us to do is they can ask us questions like the following: f of 0, f of -3, and so on. All this is asking us to do is to plug in, for example here, f of 0, plug in a 0 for all of the x's in this function they gave us. So f of 0 equals 3 times 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 7. They just want us to find out what that is. So the first part of that is 0 minus 0 again minus 7, so our answer is -7. And then we just keep going through these. So f of -3, we're going to plug in a -3 everywhere that x is. So this requires a little more work. -3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. -2 times -3 is +6. Then we're subtracting 7. So this gives us 26. Make sure that you're careful when you plug in negative numbers to put them in parentheses. If you're doing it on the calculator, especially without the parentheses here, it'll do your problem wrong, most likely. So now let's get tricky and plug in something like 2a. So I'm going to have 3 times 2a squared minus 2 times 2a minus 7. Well, 2a squared is, you have to square both things inside of the parentheses. So that's going to end up being 4a squared. -2 times 2a is -4a. The minus 7 doesn't change. And then we still need to do 3 times 4a squared, which is 12a squared. And that's as far as we can go because these aren't like terms. We can't add a squareds, a's, and regular numbers together. And notice that because we had an a in our input that we were putting into a, we ended up with a's in our answer. So if you only have numbers in your input like a and b, you should end up with a number for your answer. But if you have something with an a or some other letter for your input, you're going to end up with that letter in your output. Now let's try a minus 5. So we have 3 times a minus 5 squared minus 2 times a minus 5 minus 7. Now a minus 5 squared, you have to pay attention. A lot of people try to just square the a and the 5 and go about their merry business, and that's going to give you the incorrect answer, because when I square a minus 5, I'm doing a minus 5 times a minus 5, which means I have to FOIL, or distributive property, or whatever you want to call it here. So a times a, we're going to leave the 3 on the outside, a times a is a squared, a times -5 is -5a, -5 times a is -5a, -5 times -5 is +25, and then I just need to distribute this -2, so -2 times a is -2a, -2 times -5 is +10, and so we need to distribute this parentheses. So multiply everything in here by 3. Also, if I look, I can say, well, -5a plus -5a, that's -10a, and then multiply it by 3 and get -30a. 3 times 25 is 75. 10 minus 7 is going to give us 3. And now I just have a couple more like terms to finish up with. So I have 3a squared. Negative 30a minus 2a is negative 32a. And then 75 plus 3 is 78. So that is what f of a minus 5 equals.